Hi, and welcome to the Contenders Corner Podcast, where we talk everything that is wrestling. I am your host, Jason, and join me as I am with our co-host as well, Matt, today, as we dissect this episode of HardTalk. We are an unbiased show here, and we'll go into this episode with an open mind. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, we aren't afraid to hit home some honest fun sports on this channel. If you're new to this, then please like, share, comment and subscribe, and comment in the comment section below and share with us your opinions of what wrestling means to you. Stay with us as we have a lot to discuss on this channel. YouTube, are you ready? This is Blood and Guts Recap HardTalk. We're going to go into an intro here, and I'm going to ask you a question. I did ask you this earlier. With the introduction of Blood and Guts, they announced a match for tonight on Rampage. Is it copying WWE, the name? Do you reckon? What are your thoughts on that? Because a lot of fans on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook have said, like, they seem to be copying WWE lately.
There's a possibility, but the way they've said about the match, the match isn't really like
A Royal Rumble, yeah.
Kind of standards. It's
yeah.
They might as well call Cody something like a survival name. That's basically what the match is. It's
So basically, it's like a War Games kind of match, but without the cage. But like it's not like a battle royale. It's more like a massive wrestling match, and you got to pin each other to basically. It's like a gauntlet kind of thing, elimination, but you're pinning each other.
Yeah.
I do get the thing behind it, but I just thought, are they like trying to mimic WWE in any way? But as you said earlier, that the match isn't really mimicking like the Royal Rumble, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What's this going on with Christian, do you think?
I think it's kind of like I was your mentor. Obviously, he called him the tag championships under his guidance. And then obviously that they lost the tag championships. It got teased for a while. Come on, Jungle Boy, it's like you might be a man now, you're not meant to be a loser. They kind of have like a bit of a rift there. Jungle Boy could understand where Christian was coming from. So they kind of made up. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they're back on the same page. And then to Christian just snap like that, it's
was it Road Rage? Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And to give him the concerto and to be absolutely brutal of his family and his dad that who's famous and passed away. I can't remember his dad's name on top of my head, but absolutely.
It was a brutal.
Of his mum and his daughter as well, and carry that on this weekend to get Luchasaurus involved in a new, like I say, the new dark. I can't, that's another thing that I kind of predicted. Luchasaurus going dark. It's like, it's basically kind of like someone being spying on the podcast, because it's like, that's two things that I predicted. It's
I'm telling you now, like someone's watching the channel, if you know what I mean, because they've a lot of stuff that Scott said has happened, and a lot of stuff that you've said has happened.
Oh yeah, just the way he come out and said, "I demand a match," but I didn't say it was for me. And then the fire and it come up on the Titantron and in the ashes and the crackle. You're like, God, who's this? Who's he demanding a match for? And then and then to see the fire and the pyro, and then you could see the mask, but you couldn't really see who it was at first. And then when the lights come on, the new dark black mask and the black trucks and Luchasaurus, and the commands of Christian, it was like Christian's AEW version of Kane, really. The sick, twisted psychopath
do you like what they're doing with Luchasaurus at the minute? Because it's like what you said, like they're making him, they're building him up more dark. As you said, like they're making him into this kind of like dark Kane character. Would it be good to have Luchasaurus as this kind of like Kane figure in AEW?
I wouldn't mind him going down that route of have the dark side of him with the black mask, and then do what Kane did and reveal the mask, and him go on a psychopath without his mask.
We're gonna side track a bit here with the light of Sasha. Another rumour has come floating around, and apparently WWE are trying to pull her back in. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think at this precise moment that she will go back.
I agree with you on that one. Something's got to have happened, but they haven't said anything, have they?
I would probably think that Naomi's probably just keeping out of the way for the time being, because of what's going on with the Usos. So obviously, if she opened her mouth and said something, that might cause heat on the Usos' part. So I think she's keeping stum, waiting for the right moments, and who knows, maybe both of them might end up in AEW.
Could you see Sasha Banks on AEW?
I could see her go after Jade Cargill 100%.
With a top draw of Sasha Banks, as I said this in previous podcasts, would it be a big steal if Tony Khan managed to have a star prominent as Sasha Banks?
Oh yeah, it should be like one of the top names of the women's division.
Do AEW need another top star like Sasha? in the women's division?
Maybe not an ex-WWE top star, but maybe a top star from another company.
Yeah. We're gonna go into talking about the Dynamite itself. I'm gonna go into Orange Cassidy and All Ego Ethan Page. I thought this was really fun. I thought it again, and a star like Cassidy brings very good timing and it brings comedic value to an underappreciated match, and his ability to mesh character with in-ring work is a breath of fresh air. And I tell you what, this match was really, really good, and I thought Orange Cassidy did good work here. What are your thoughts on this match to open the show?
To actually go with his new theme, for Tony Khan not to hang around to open the show, given the theme that got license for. Maybe what we discussed before. Maybe this is the new push that he's going to get. So, is it going to lead up to a title picture that we discussed the other day? The crowd was behind him. Tony Khan seems to be behind him. So, yeah, maybe the championships in his.
I said this as we've seen at Forbidden Door, as we've seen the previous night. He managed a really good match with a star from NJPW in the likes of Will Ospreay. Even though he lost that match, he still gave out a fantastic, but near enough a 4-star match. With this match, Ethan Page, All Ego Ethan Page, again, All Ego Ethan Page is a heavyweight, bigger than Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy still managed to pull off the bag here and get a signature victory on All Ego Ethan Page. I asked you this on the Forbidden Door podcast. Would Tony Khan be audacious, brave, to put the AEW World Title on Cassidy?
Well, just to look at it, the pop, obviously he's done that to maybe experiment. So if the fans are behind him, maybe Matt actually pull that trigger and see where they go. Fans behind it all, then why not?
Would you want Orange Cassidy to be the world champion?
I think other people are more deserving of the title, but like I say, if the fans get behind it and pulls in the rates and the ratings, even if they just decide to maybe like an interim thing, while Punk's out, at least just experiment a bit until Punk gets back.
Is Orange Cassidy not the type of guy to be a world champion, as you said in the previous podcast? Is he not that build, that size, to hang around with the likes of CM Punk, the stars like Adam Page?
As a face, probably not. But if you see him as like add something to his character as a heel, be a bit of a badass, then maybe he acts like a bit cocky, maybe as a heel. Maybe that will work as a world champ. We'll just have to wait and see.
If there was to be a time where Orange Cassidy, like you said, you said before in the previous video, he's not that build, he's not the right type of guy to hang around in the main event picture. But if there was a chance, would there only be a time if he had a faction behind him?
He's always seems to be with a faction.
Yeah.
He's really done it on his own. So,
So what the question I'm saying is, if he was to be the world champion, would he need people behind him to get there? He wouldn't be able to do it on his own, basically.
Yeah, more than likely, but if you want to change the way of people, what's the word? It's like how people look up to you, because that might be the doubt in the fans' minds. He can't do it without backup. So why didn't creative or him go to Tony Khan and say, listen, give me the chance to do it on my own without backup, experiments. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then at least we tried with the way that I don't need backup. I've always been in a faction. Let me try do stuff on my own.
If Tony Khan was to put a belt on him, which belt would it be?
Good question.
In your wizard mind, what belt would you give him if you was Tony Khan?
I would say, I know it doesn't really get defended a lot, but looking at the champions that they've got at the moment, I wouldn't mind him seeing, is it called the FTW Championship? The one with...
Yeah, I think, it's FTW, yeah. It's the TNT title and the FTW title, I think, and not the belts that should be on the brand, really. Them the only two titles I don't favour. There's something about them I just can't get behind them.
Yeah, because I think obviously with the new All-Atlantic Championship,
I think that should have been the title that should have been put there in the beginning. It feels that kind of title for me. Do you get that vibe from it?
Yeah, that kind of like Scott said the other day.
For me, it looks appealing. You know what I mean? Like what a championship needs to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got that feel factor for me. Like it's got that appeal. Like someone like Miro will want to, go for a title like that. It looks prominent. It looks appealing. You know what I mean? Well, the TNT title, especially the FTW title, it just looks too childish for me. The FTW one does. I don't know about you, but that FTW one just looks too childish. But if you was to put the FTW title on Orange Cassidy, how would you book it? How would you book him as champion?
I'd book him as a heel. I really would. I book him as a cocky, kind of like a cocky northerner, to be honest.
Interesting.
Like, look at me. I'm unstoppable. No one can, that kind of attitude.
It's
basically part of my language, like make yourself look like a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah. But it's like what you said, like what you touched on the Forbidden Door podcast. You said that Orange Cassidy's got that. What would I say? You said something in the lines of, "He's that type of wrestler that doesn't need a championship because he's over anyway." If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate more on that?
I think that's like kind of what Scott said, didn't you, really? Scott basically said that, he's over with his character, he doesn't really need a championship. The gimmick that he's putting over works. So, yeah, in a way, I can kind of agree with what Scott has said. He doesn't really need a championship because he is already over with the fans.
What would you rate this match? Orange Cassidy versus All Ego Ethan Page.
I'd probably rate it like 3.5. It's, decent enough opening.
It was a good fun match. I thought it was an exciting match to start off. Well, I agree with you. A good strong 3.5 for me. The next one. How would you rate Christian's promo?
Probably one of the best promos he does, really, to actually take real life stuff in Jungle Boy's life and turn it into something sick, twisted. It's just just look on the fans. Just the disgust in their eyes.
The Bleacher Report said if there was one thing AEW did not need, it was a heel Luchasaurus. Sure, Cage has been nothing short of extraordinary since turning into a villain. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with his words?
Well, if you look at his heel days in WWE, when he was first a heel, I'm kind of getting them kind of vibes when he was with Tyson Tonko. He was tall. He was muscly. He was kind of like his bodyguard.
I agree.
I could kind of see Tony Khan refreshing that, or basically like a refresh of them storyline, but he's putting his own
twist on it,
his own twist on it, really.
And he's just basically making Luchasaurus more darker.
Well, like people were saying, like on social media, is that Luchasaurus is just AEW's Kane, but darker.
And the Bleacher Report continues. It says that it's a major disappointment that Jurassic Express came to an end. Would you agree with those words? I don't agree with them words. I think it's good for, to be fair, they've been a tag team for quite a long time. I think Tony Khan is doing something good here. Would you agree with what Tony Khan's doing? Do you trust what Tony Khan's doing?
They could have played it either way, really. He could have, Luchasaurus could have come out this week and question Christian's loyalty to the group after all this time. But obviously, you've gone down the mentor versus the students, and Luchasaurus' side with Christian was, I found, a bit odd.
He also continues to say that AEW have robbed fans of what could have been a big money angle.
It depends on.
I would say I trust in what Tony Khan is doing here. Sometimes you got to give a bit of trust, ain't you? You got to give a bit of leeway. Obviously, the guy has got some kind of idea for Luchasaurus and his manager Christian Cage, as they both now have turned heel. So obviously, you got to give a bit of leeway for a few weeks. Give it a bit of time, and then some kind of idea of what the story will look like.
Yeah, could you see it being along the lines of when MJF always used to do like a big feud in parts?
Yeah.
He'd have to go through like people to face the final boss. Could you see this being Christian's way of doing it with Luchasaurus?
I can see that. Yeah, I agree with that. It's interesting to see. And to be honest with you, like what you said, that promo we cut 2 weeks ago was absolutely probably one of the best I've seen for this year. To be honest, that was absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. That I'd say MJF came close to topping that just by a twinkle. That you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was absolute fire. Christian Cage literally he tore him down. Absolute tore him down. Did Serpentico needed to be squashed by Luchasaurus, would you say? Or would you have had Christian Cage have wrestled that match?
It seemed to me like, Christian was trolling the fans in a way. To say, oh yeah, I'm going to explain why I did it, but I want a match. But then to basically troll the fans, go, nah, I'll have a match, but not when you say. I'll have one when I say.
And that's basically what he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, Luchasaurus literally absolutely tore him. He just literally got obliterated. Absolutely obliterated in that match. I felt sorry for Serpentico at one point.
Yeah, so it was like that. They planned this for Jungle Boy all along, but just the way that Christian was, demanding Luchasaurus do this, whispering in his ear, giving him commands. It was like I could see coming out in Luchasaurus going, Jungle Boy, I never liked you, but I felt sorry for you. That kind of storyline.
Is this similar to you remember Big Cass and what's his name?
Enzo Amore.
Is it kind of like that in a way? There's kind of like some resemblance in the story, isn't there?
a little bit of a difference because Luchasaurus hasn't attacked Jungle Boy yet. But you could probably see Jungle Boy question why has he sided with Christian next week, maybe.
Could we see it kind of play out how Daniel Bryan? You remember when Bray Wyatt had hypnotised Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton? Is it going to be like that in kind of some way, where Christian has managed to kind of get his grip on Luchasaurus and he's actually like playing mind games with him? Is it kind of like how Bray Wyatt did it with Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan in some effect?
It could, but maybe it's time for Luchasaurus to have a singles run.
Right.
Ever since he was in AEW from the beginning, he's always been in a tag team. But he has done amazing singles work in previous companies.
Yeah.
So maybe Tony Khan's finally pulling the trigger to say, here's the ball, go with it.
And to be fair, he has done a lot of work. Like you said, he's done I agree. I totally agree with you. Like, he's put all the stops. He's been there from day one with Jungle Boy. He's worked, he's grafted for near enough 3-4 years. As a tag team. And I agree with you. I think, like Tony Khan has said, like, you know what? You've worked for me. You've grafted for me. You've done everything that I've asked. Here's a singles run. Go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would you rate that squash match by any chance? We'll do it together. We'll do it together. You rate the promo and then rate the match.
Rate the promo and the match.
So, but both together, what would you rate it?
Both of it out of 5, or
you can do them both together out of 5, yeah.
The promo, obviously, I'd give it a 5. It's just like, out of this world's real last promo. As for the squash match with Luchasaurus, I'd probably just give it a 2.
Yeah. I'll give the promo a 4.5, a strong 4.5, and then I'll give the squash match a 2. And moving on, we got the Gun Club versus Danhausen and his friends with Max Caster and the Gun Club. The FTR and Danhausen versus Max Caster and the Gun Club. What did you think of who did you predict FTR to be in this match?
I didn't really think who he would have, really, because he's just that kind of person that he's trying to be friends with people. I would have thought who could have been one of them, because obviously he's in a tag team with him, but I don't know what's gone on there.
Is Danhausen going to be this kind of similar to like Orange Cassidy?
He seems to be like a fun-loving guy that maybe feels a bit lonely. A bit lonely, a bit jokey. He's just trying to make friends. He's basically he's basically along the lines of, I'm just trying to think someone like who used to be in WWE. I would say probably a Eugene. Of how Eugene was, obviously not that, he's obviously like a bit more higher level than Eugene, but he's kind of just the characters on the same kind of level. Eugene just wants to be friends. He loved wrestling when he was growing up. He loved the legends that used to show up for, and everyone just keeps trying knock him down, saying, you're nothing but a joke. Why are you here? And it's basically what Danhausen is. He's trying to make friends with people. He thinks everyone's going to be his friends, and people just think he's a joke.
Yeah, I'd say it was a very fun. I wouldn't say it's probably one of the best classic encounters we've had with FTR, but I thought this was a great, tag team match. It was a good multi tag team match. It was fun, exciting. There was it was back to back as well, and there was some good pops in places. What was your brief for this match? What were your thoughts on it?
I just think it just I think the way that you booked that kind of match, I thought, well, a lot of FTR tag win will make it a comedy match. You won't have to do much after the fact that they had a forbidden door. So I could kind of see why they booked them into it. They didn't have to do much, give them a bit of a rest, but they want them on the show. It kind of turns that match into a comedy match, which is, since they started AEW, is very rare. But, which is, in a way, is good, because not every week you need a comedy match. Like in WWE, we see it near enough every week. Fans get bored. But every now and again, it is good that,
you have a comedy match, yeah.
Match.
I'll get you. This had a lot of comedy in it. It was fun. It was that kind of excitement we had at the first match with Orange Cassidy, and it had that same feel to it. It weren't the greatest match that Orange Cassidy's been in. It was fun. It was exciting. It was decent to start the show. It was a great start. And again, this match had that kind of feel to it. You had a short match, a squash match coming from Luchasaurus, so you needed something good to get the fans back into it. You know what I mean? And I thought this had that comedy feel to get the fans back into it, and surely these men did just that. After the match, there was some kind of frustration mounting between the Billy Gunn and his son. What are your thoughts on this? Where could it lead for the future? Are we going to have the Gun Club and the Acclaimed in some kind of feud here?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said there. I can see Billy Gunn maybe have to make a choice eventually. Either side with his two sons, or to completely ditch his sons and side with the Acclaimed, if what seems to be getting teased at the moment. After the Acclaimed try to get involved in it with the crutch, and then to cost the Gun Club the match, and then to push Billy Gunn to push his son over. It's like, you know, what's that all about? You should be doing that to you know, the Acclaimed. Say, why are you getting involved in being my son's business? It just seems a very odd situation at the moment.
I agree. But it could get interesting. Is this what the Gun Club need to get more prominent, would you say? Is this Billy Gunn trying to test his own son's talent here?
Maybe, but I don't know. Don't think with him at the moment. I don't think it's getting over, in my opinion. I just think that the both of them need to refriend, go to the drawing board and say, I don't think that, go to Tony or Create and go, I don't think we're getting over like this. We need something new and fresh.
Are you on about the Gun Club here?
Yeah.
I agree. I think they need to. I think there was only one Billy Gunn, and I think they're trying to force them to have that kind of gimmick, you know, the ass man, and I don't think it's working. It ain't going over. It did work for Billy Gunn in some effect, but not as big as it was, if you know what I'm saying. But it did have that comedy feel, and it, like what you said, it's just not getting over to fans. You did mention this name, TBS champion, Jade Cargill. She's now 34 wins. You did mention that she will go past 50. Do you still think she's gonna go past 50 wins?
I think she's going to go up to 49-0, and then someone big's going to make it not have the 50th win. That's where I can see the storylines going.
Do you reckon it's gonna go 49-1?
Yeah.
Would you say Layla Gray will have some kind of influence in ending that streak?
I don't know. Maybe I could see one of the baddies maybe turning on it. Maybe. I just don't know what their idea was with her at the moment. It still seems up in the air to me.
So the TBS champion Jade Cargill made an open challenge last week to any girl, any woman, any diva in the women's roster, in the women's division. Layla Gray stepped up. What did you think of this match?
I thought it was average, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. I thought it was good that someone like Layla stepped up. You know, she was courageous, she was brave to step up to the open challenge laid by the TBS challenge Jade Cargill. Despite the resilience and the performance of the champion, she did get a few shots in, but to that effect, Jade Cargill was more dominant in the match, and to that effect, she got wiped, defeated. So you just say it was just brief. It was again the same kind of match, the same kind of squash match laid by Luchasaurus.
Yes, I think it's going on a bit too long.
Was AEW right to have 2 squash matches in this show? You know, you had a good starter with Orange Cassidy and Ethan Page. Then you have a massive promo with Christian Cage. Could they have stopped it there with Christian Cage? Should it have just been a promo if they was going to have Jade Cargill do a squash match?
More than likely, yeah.
And then would you have put more minutes on the main event?
Obviously, the main event was near enough an hour anyway. So you could have had another promo from somebody.
But not 2 squash matches.
No.
I think that was the only bad thing about the show, really. I thought, you know, you've had a squash match. That's it. I hope there's at least a decent match, and we saw another one. And I thought it was an okay match. It was brief, so I'm going to give this match a 2. Where is your ground on this one?
I'd probably give it that 2.5. Really. I'll probably in between that ballpark, really.
So what are your thoughts on the Chris Statlander then?
I just don't know what seems to be going on with it, to be honest. One minute she's looking like an alien, and now I think with Chris Statlander, it's the only thing I'm a bit confused about. Doesn't seem to be any direction on that one. I'm quite disappointed about.
Go into it. Why are you disappointed?
I think what she had worked, so it didn't really need to change. It was something different. You don't have to change it, because someone else is doing the same, so we should do the same thing. It was a good idea. The alien kind of look. I liked it.
Yeah. So you're kind of a bit disappointed that the alien kind of look has come away, basically.
Yeah.
Now we go into the main event. I'm gonna ask you something here.
Yeah.
Was Sammy Guevara the right choice? Did they make the right choice to have Sammy Guevara start the match?
Yeah, possibly.
I think so. I thought it was.
Maybe they did that as Sammy going to Jericho going, listen, I've got, we're in a circle together. I think basically it was him telling Jericho, I'm going in first after everything that you've done and shown me in my career. You always had my back. Now it's time for me to show you what I've learned, and I appreciate you. I think that's why he basically went first.
And your thoughts of Claudio starting? Did you predict that Castagnoli was going to start first?
No, not quite.
Yes, I was surprised with that as well. I thought it would have been like Santana or Ortiz or Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, I disagree. I would have thought Eddie Kingston would have gone in straight away and tried to raise hell. But, you know, looking back at it now, Kingston to be the last one in, I just thought that was absolutely hilarious of how he come in as well. I just, you know, I just tried not to basically laugh. Just how he come in, he was like he had like a lifesaver.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Oh my god, it was like, you know, it added more oomph to the, you know, to the ending of the end stages of the match. You know, it was like it just, it was like the match just kept giving and giving and giving.
Yeah.
For me, the contest lived up to the hype of the company and the expectations of the audience. There was plenty of blood spilled and numerous weapons were utilised throughout. Pain and suffering came from shattered glass, thumbtacks, steel chairs, kendo sticks, and the unforgiving of the steel cage. And yes, the table was used as well. And don't forget the rubbing alcohol in John Moxley's eyes. Could this have been any better?
No, everything that they did was
spot on, yeah. In the end, we saw Kingston throw Guevara off the cage and through a wooden platform. What are your thoughts on that?
I think he deserved it, to be honest. But I would have maybe gone one step further.
Right, go on.
This might sound a bit harsh, but maybe I would have had to take Conte to try to save him. Maybe she tried to climb up with a weapon, and maybe she fell off, and they both go in the table together.
You're evil as hell. You know what? That'd have been insane. It would have been insane, but Matt, you want a woman to go through the table?
Yeah.
What, on her own or?
No,
together.
Go together.
Maybe if Sammy Guevara took most of the fall.
Yeah, maybe.
If Sammy took most of the fall, and they both went through anyway, yeah. To that I could agree with. But if she's going through the table on her own.
Yeah. If she's going through the table on her own, there's only
Matt, this ain't the 1990s. This ain't the.
Do that.
This ain't 1998. This isn't King of the Ring.
Well, as Regal said about 1998, so you know how sick and twisted Eddie Kingston is, and he probably would have done
it. To be honest with you, yeah, I agree with what Regal said, and it was spot on. Like literally, the moment he threw Sammy Guevara off the cage, and you could see the evil twisted laugh he was doing. Like he was just absolute sick. He was just laughing his head off for about 2 minutes. And yeah, I agree with you. Like if there was a point where Tay Conti was on that cage, I think she would have went through that. that wooden platform myself. But what are your thoughts on the whole entirety of the match? How it started to how it ended. Were you happy with it?
I was just, just amazed of how good the match was put on, really.
I agree. I agree. I thought this was an absolute big way for the company to come out of Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door had a fantastic opener. It absolutely blew the roof off. You had, I think Tony Khan was talking. I was watching the media scrum on YouTube today, and I watched about half an hour of it. And Tony Khan was saying that I think Forbidden Door generated around 1.1 million ticket sales, and then he said he would be happy if the pay-per-view had generated over 100,000 pay-per-view sales, online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think at one point he said they absolutely tore the roof off that as well. Like they beat the 100,000, target that they wanted for online sales, and it was absolutely. He was saying it was a big success, and he said that Double or Nothing was better, but like literally Forbidden Door came through, nearly beating Double or Nothing. What are your thoughts on that?
Totally agree with him. To be honest, if they keep making decent enough episodes or pay-per-views, then fans will definitely get behind it, and it'll keep growing and growing and growing.
Would you say Blood and Guts should be a pay-per-view?
100% yes.
Because that episode was absolute amazing. You know what I mean? If they had, how would you book it if it was a pay-per-view? What would you do with that kind of show if it was a pay-per-view?
I'd probably kind of make it along the lines of how TNA do theirs.
Yeah.
With Lockdown. Maybe have maybe stadium stampede matches or street fights. You'd want to make it, along the lines of how WWE do Extreme Rules. Just make the matches extreme. TLCs or tables matches. Blood and Guts. You could have what's the match called? You could have a lights out match, or an I Quit match. Just anything you can see that's you're putting your bodies on the line. You're gonna spew your guts or blood pouring out. Just anything really.
Hold on, I'm just getting. You can carry on if you want. If you want to add a bit more to it.
Can't really think of anything else to say. Really, it's just AEW just continues to grow and grow throughout the years. Long may it continue.
I know we've got two more. They've said that we've got two more pay-per-views on the way. I know there's All Out coming, but before there's All Out, we've got two more pay-per-views. We've got Grand Slam, and then there's another one. I can't think of the name, but I know it was shown on Forbidden. What? Sorry. No. Can't think of the name. I'm trying to find it. but I know it was advertised on Blood and Guts the other night. Yeah, but what are your thoughts on Grand Slam?
It'll probably be along the lines of what they did with Road Rager and Bash at the Beach. It's just going to be like a Dynamite special, in my opinion.
Would you say they're copying SummerSlam in some kind of way? Because it's kind of named that way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like an old WCW kind of vibe, SummerSlam vibe. It's kind of like a summer version of NXT, really.
Kingston failing to deal Jericho his comeuppance was a major disappointment by Kingston, given it is the feud that necessitated the whole thing. But Castagnoli stealing the thunder, what are your thoughts on that? Given the history between Claudio and Kingston, what are your thoughts on him stealing Kingston's thunder?
Only time will tell how they're going to create this. I could probably say, like we said before, it's Regal's the middleman at the moment. He seems to be getting them both on the same page. Obviously, he helped him at the end of Forbidden Door, and they've teamed together. So now now that's out the way. Kingston's on his part. Will next week we actually see a promo of him calling out Claudio from last week? Saying, what, fair enough. I've done my end of the bargain. And they might come out and say, call it out and say, come on, now, have you got the balls to actually face me? Now I've done my end of the bargain.
Could you see it go down that quick, though?
Maybe at the next pay-per-view.
It's a Grand Slam, you reckon, or all out?
I would say all out, yes.
In September?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this is coming to a close on this podcast. We haven't got Scott here, but I think we've touched a lot of topics today. Final thoughts on the Blood and Guts match? How would you rate it?
5 out of 5.
Yeah, I've got that as well. It was absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. And I know I did ask you, would you want this as a pay-per-view? And my thoughts, if Tony Khan ever thought of having this as a pay-per-view, I'm all in. I'm all in. This has got that pay-per-view feel to it. I think it should have been a pay-per-view. Would you say this should have been a pay-per-view?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
You know what, Matt? Thanks for being on here. We've touched a lot today, and I thank you again for the success behind the Forbidden Door podcast. I was hoping if Scott would have been on today, but we'll see him for the Rampage recap on Wednesday, and I'll congratulate you both again on that podcast Wednesday. You know what, mate? Enjoy the rest of you and have a few days break, and we'll come back when Scott is ready.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
But again, thank you for Forbidden Door. It was a huge success, mate. Thank you very much.
No problem, mate.
Thank you very much, mate.